Fireworks, locally owned with the largest selection around. A Black Hat dealer with the lowest prices in Dixie. Dixieland Fireworks, just off I-75 on Ringgold Road, East Ridge. And I'm Sworn Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare.
Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree? Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM and 95.3 HD4. News Talk Nooga Radio.
It's Monday evening, and it's time for another Sports Talk with Sam Jordan here on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM, 95.3 FM HD4, and of course at NoogaRadio.com. We're on Facebook Live, we're on YouTube, and I happen to have here in the studio with me the new promoter at Boyd Speedway over in Ringgold, Georgia, Kathy Coulter. Good evening, Kathy.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Now you'll have to get a lid right on it.
Right
literally.
on it. Okay, thanks.
All right. And she is the new promoter at Boyd Speedway. Tell us a little bit about the history of Boyd Speedway. And I know you figure into that from the early beginnings because of your grandfather.
Yes, my grandfather was E.A. Boyd. He actually was the founder and namesake of the racetrack. They broke ground back in 1951, and the first race was held in 1952. We're right on the Tennessee-Georgia line, and we've been in business for 65 years.
All right. So you're right off of 75?
Yes, we're I-75, exit 1. We're tucked right behind Camping World. In fact, you enter in Tennessee, and our pit area is in Tennessee, but our racetrack actually sits in Georgia. So it's kind of a cool little dynamic on that.
Sounds like an old racetrack that I used to work at up in Jamestown, New York. Half the track, or turns 1 and 4 were in Pennsylvania, and turns 2 and 3 were in New York State. That's why they call it a state line speedway. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I can relate to that. So the very intimacy of Boyd Speedway, what size of a track is it?
We're a 1/3 clay dirt oval. We've had lots of different, we've even been NASCAR sanctioned over the year. It's been both dirt and asphalt. So a lot of history right here in Chattanooga when it comes to automobile racing.
No, it has had probably more storied years as an asphalt track than it has dirt, correct?
Yes, it has. It was actually part of the Winston Cup or the NASCAR circuit back in the days. Bobby Allison, Donnie Allison, Jody Ridley, Marty Robbins, all the Fryer brothers, all those guys have all raced at Boyd's and got a lot of wins and a lot of laps under their belts there.
I'm sure. Now, what are the particular classes that you run there on? And what's the race day? Friday, Saturday, Sunday? We
race on Saturdays primarily, unless we have a special event like for a Friday night show. We have a couple of those on the schedule for this year, but weekly we run limited late models, which are steelhead, spec motors, and crate 525s. They're our top division. Then we have crate late models. We have sportsman. We have street stock, hobby, as well as hot shot, which is our beginners division, which is like little Honda Civics and stuff like that. The
four-cylinder
type class. Yeah. So we have 6 classes that we're going to be running this year.
All right. And do you have special events that has been a part of the history at Boyd Speedway that you're going to be continuing on?
We have lots of different series that come in. On Friday, March 23rd, we're actually bringing in the Lucas Oil Series, which is where you have your Scott Bloomquist, Jimmy Owens, Jonathan Davenport, all those guys will be in running for $12,000 to win. I mean, it's a huge event that night. So we hope everybody will come out and see those guys because there are national touring late model guys and you see them on TV all the time.
Now you're going to be kicking off the season here coming up at the end of the month. That you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're going to be having our 10th annual Cabin Fever race. It is going to be $3,000 to win for our super late model guys. Our limited late model guys are going to be able to compete in that as well. We're giving them a spoiler. And that kind of, gives them a little bit more downforce, kind of makes up for what they're lacking in a motor and give them a little shot at it. And we also have crate late model, sportsmen. All those guys are still going to be running with us. And we're also bringing in mod lights, which are like little mini open wheel cars. So those guys are going to be there as well. Again, it's our 10th annual Cabin Fever. We're going to start at noon on Saturday, January 27th. We're really excited about this. Great. Hopefully we'll have great weather. This past weekend, they were racing down at Talladega, and it's a little chilly down there. So I'm hoping we have a little bit better weather at the 27th.
The one thing, in all the years that I've been a part of racing, whether it's as an announcer or working in the tower or whatever, I'm not used to seeing racing start on the dirt track level until like maybe early April.
Yeah.
I mean, since coming to Chattanooga, I'm learning a lot of different things. Hey, it's a little bit warmer typically, and that's good.
Hopefully.
Hopefully not as icy as what we've had here today, but it's always fun when you can be around the track. And with you're just taking over the promotership duties and everything. You were handling marketing only, but what prompted you to want to get into the promoting part of it? That's got to be scary.
It's a little intimidating, but it's something that I've always had a passion for and always wanted to do, but never really thought that I would have the opportunity. I mean, there's only a handful of racetracks, or not, I shouldn't say a handful of racetracks. There's only so many racetracks around and only so many people can be their promoter. And it's even more rare for a woman to be in the lead position, in all honesty. So, there's a lot of husband, wife, or brother, sister, a lot of times, people will team up for me to be an individual and go in. That's something a little bit rare. So I'm really excited. And, with my grandfather having the track, and then my uncle ran the track back in the 80s. And, my cousins helped work it. And my mom and my uncle are always down there working in the concession stand or doing tickets. And my mom's been down there, and just that's what my family has done. My dad's built chassis here in the Chattanooga area. All of my friends race. If there's not a race going on, we're all sitting around on the weekend talking about racing. Like, we know that's all we do, So racing's just my life. And like I said, it's always something I wanted to try, and we're going to see how good it goes.
But, it may seem scary and maybe intimidating, but there is a lot of fun to it as well.
Oh, definitely. I'm already having a blast, I'm working on the schedule and getting to meet a lot of different people and working on sponsorship. And we are looking for partnerships with sponsorships and stuff like that out at the track. We have lots of different options as far as that's concerned. But, really the involvement with the fans and the racers. And we've done last year when I come on, we did some work with the Chattanooga Food Bank. We were able to donate 741 pounds of food to the Chattanooga Food Bank at Thanksgiving at our gobbler race. And then we did a breast cancer event last year, and we were able to donate $3,240 to the Maryland Loker Center. We're going to be doing the breast cancer event again this year, and we're actually having the mobile unit out there. And so we're going to be giving mammograms on site and stuff like that. So we got a lot of cool stuff going, and being able to do more outreach with the community, I'm absolutely loving it.
That's awesome. We're with Kathy Coulter, the new promoter at Boyd Speedway, located just over the line there in Ringgold. And if you've got a question or a comment you'd like to ask Kathy, you can call us up at 423-800-8949, 423-800-8949. Once again, you can catch us on Twitter. You can go to noogaradio.com. You can go to YouTube, Facebook Live, and catch us here, or just on terrestrial radio here at 92.7 FM and 95.3 FM HD4. Talking about Boyd Speedway, who are some of the drivers that have been there over the years that are really behind you in coming aboard? You've always been at the track, I'm sure, and been a part of it in some way, shape, or form. But have you gotten a lot of response from some of the drivers, about this new turn? As far as this is like turn 5 here, the Kathy turn.
Yeah. Most everybody's been really supportive about, me stepping up into the new role. Like I said, all of my friends are pretty much at the racetrack. So, I have Riley Hickman, which is one of our, local talents. He's, him and his wife, Angie, they've really stood behind me. Todd and Kim Hernandez. Todd races with us in our limited division. They're really they're my cheerleaders, and then I have Josh and Sarah Walker. Josh races crate with us. I've just got so many people who are sending me messages and texts and phone calls, and everybody's really standing behind me and supporting me. And hopefully it's going to, everybody's going to come out and on those days and support us. But, we're really excited. And I know most of the people, but there's also names I know and faces, but I haven't really put them together yet. So, I'm going to have to, learn a few of y'all a little bit better. But, everybody's really cheering me on as far as what's going on. And then Dale McDowell was doing a lot of the promotions as well. And so he's kind of taking a step back and going racing more. So he's been, kind of giving me, a few words of advice and stuff like that. And then David and Kim Duplessis, which are the actual owners of the facility, they're kind of helping me out and nudging me a little bit as well. So I've got a great team behind me, and we're putting a few more people in place as far as, the track prep and all the employees and all that stuff. We're getting everything lined up and together. So I'm a little bit late on putting my schedule out and my rules, but there's just a lot of moving parts, and all this was released on January 1st. So about 8 days into this. So, we're getting a lot of information out there, but everybody seems to be really excited.
So was January 1st when you officially took over as promoter?
Yes.
Okay.
I officially took over January 1st.
So for a driver, what would be any difference or motivating factor for them to want to come to Boyd Speedway?
Well, of course you want to come to Boyd's. It's one of the nicest facilities around. We also have a track down in Chatsworth that we're going to be doing some work with Kevin and Chip Burke down there in North Georgia Speedway in Chatsworth. And we're going to be doing some events with them and kind of working together. But as far as Boyd's, we have a top-notch facility. I'm actually going to be reintroducing the point system. So it's going to be a little bit more for people to want to come and race with us as much as possible. And we're going to be shaking a few things up. I'm changing the rules just a little bit on a couple of the classes. And fans like to see racing. They don't really care for qualifying. So we're probably going to go, or I shouldn't say probably, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. We're going all heat race next year. It's going to be heat race only. We're going to spin a wheel. That's where y'all are going to go, shake it up. The fans are going to want to see, the guy that wins every week, maybe start last and have to work his way back up.
Right.
And we might be rolling some dice, shaking stuff up. So we're going to do a lot more, just try and make it a little bit more interesting. We're going to have more stuff up in the top as far as a fan appreciation night and, concession stand specials and, just even our merchandise. We're going to do a little bit of rebranding with that. And we've got a new website coming. There's just a lot of stuff that people are going to see, a lot of changes over the next probably month or so. People are going to see a lot.
Okay. All right. How many races are going to be in the season?
Tentatively right now, I have about 18 on the schedule. If people show up and they support us and we're doing good, I will be more than happy to add more races to that. But right now I'm sitting at about 18 races on my schedule.
Okay. All right. So we talked about the aspect as far as with the drivers, and you kind of touched a little bit on the fan aspect. What can a fan expect when they come to Boyd Speedway?
Oh, the best time.
Okay.
We have a great staff, a great facility. Our restrooms are very clean and air conditioned. That's always a positive when it comes to a hot summer day. It's just a top-notch facility. Terry and the staff in the concession stand, it's probably one of the best corn dogs you'll ever eat in your life. We have lots of good food. We do sell beer. So if you like to sit back and, drink you a cold Bud Light as you watch the race, we have that for you. If you don't like that, we also have a family section, which is no smoking, no drinking allowed. So we try to cater to everybody as far as that's concerned. We have souvenirs. Like I said, we're going to be having more concession stand specials and grandstand specials. Also, one thing that's pretty major, I think that's pretty major, kids 12 and under get in for free. So you can afford to bring your whole family. You can lay down a $20 bill. You and your wife can come in, bring in 5 kids if you want to. It's still only going to cost you $20 to come watch a race at Boyd's. Our general admission is going to be $10 for a regular show. Special events are more, like the Cabin Fever is going to be $15 because you're going to see 7 classes in action that day. And it's a bigger purse, stuff like that. So we just got a lot of stuff, trying to gear it a little bit more to the fans, make it a little bit more cost effective so everybody can come back out and enjoy it. A lot of people actually don't really realize that we're still here. They're like, oh, like we were at the World of Wheels this weekend. Oh, I used to go there all the time. I didn't know y'all were still there. It's like, no, we're still here.
Yeah, come back.
Come back and see us. We're still here.
Here with Kathy Coulter, the new promoter at Boyd Speedway over in Ringgold, Georgia, just off of exit 1 on the Georgia side of I-75. And we'd like to encourage you, if you'd like to call in with questions or comments, she will try to answer them as best as possible. And you can do so by calling at 423-800-8949. 423-800-8949. And I'm not being sexist when I say this, okay? So I'm giving you a little precursor here. There are a lot of females that are involved in racing, whether they're driving, they go collect the purse at the end of the night for that class after the features ran and everything. But what really propelled you to want to get into the nuts and bolts of running a racetrack?
Well, I guess it's just in my blood, with, my grandfather and then, my uncle and then my mom, and my dad's built chassis, my whole life. So every weekend we were at the racetrack. Like that's what we did, So I didn't know anything any different. Even my ex-husband even raced. So I've been on every side of it as far as, racing any possible way.
All right, you're on the air with Sports Talk with Sam Jordan and Kathy Coulter. Go ahead, caller.
I didn't hear you say, when does the season start?
It's going to be January 27th. It's just under 3 weeks away. We're going to start at 12 noon that day. And then March 23rd is actually going to start our season with the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series.
Now, if I bring the kids, how much is it for the kids to get in?
The kids 12 and under are free. There may be a slight charge on the Lucas Oil date. I'm not exactly sure. But on any given night, kids 12 and under are free in our grandstands.
All right, where can I see the schedule?
The schedule should be coming out by the end of the week, first of next week. I'm finalizing a couple dates with the NISA series.
Okay. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but I like it. Thank you.
Oh, good. Come on back. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. And if you'd like to call in, and you can do so by calling 423-800-8949. And I'm getting a couple of messages. Bobby Doss.
He's one of our racers from Cleveland.
And
good family. They support us all the time.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby, if you're out there watching, you can always type in a question, or you can call in as well. Any of the other drivers or fans that have been to Boyd's over the years, more than welcome to call in or to type a response here on Facebook Live. We're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, all the different social media platforms. And, of course, right here at 92.7 FM and 95.3 FM HD4. Kathy Coulter from Boyd Speedway. Kathy, the fan experience has got to be an awesome one. Have you had a lot of the fans, since they heard the rumors that you were looking at taking over the racetrack, giving you maybe some opinions and what their thoughts were?
Pretty much I hear let's race every week. That's pretty much the main thing that everybody wants. But, we've kind of got to crawl before we walk. So hopefully that, all the fans and the teams will show back out for us. And so we can add some more dates and stuff. But for the most part, all of our fans are, really supportive of us. And, we have some diehards. They have their seats marked, and that's where they're going to sit, and they're going to move you if you're there. So,
yeah. That's at any dirt track. Trust me. And it's like, if you're sitting along, the middle row there, right toward the edge, if they're not there when the gates open, or I don't know what time the gates open, but usually like 4:30, 5 o'clock, where I used to participate at tracks, they would have a blanket over that spot where the seats are going to be or something. Do not sit there unless you don't value your life, or you may be going over the edge of the railing.
That's a possibility. They're dedicated to their spot. Most of the time they're there when the gates open. We have one particular lady, Viola, and her husband, Jerry. They are there every single week, as long as their health permits. They've her husband's had a little bit of health problems, but they're there videoing and putting pictures up of everything. And, we have Juanita that comes all the time, and Kenny. We've got a lot of people that are up in the stands and are very dedicated. And that's what we love. We love our fans and we love our racers. And, it's really special. It really is a special place, being in Chattanooga for 65 years.
Are you looking at maybe doing something special with it being 65th anniversary?
The 65th was actually last year.
Okay.
So we're entering year 66 this year. But we had a kids night deal last year, and we had cupcakes for everybody that came. So we kind of had birthday cake for everybody. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. But we're hoping to do a little bit more this year, like I said, with our fan interaction. And we have our fan zone, too, which has the simulator like what was at the World of Wheels. It's actually a live real dirt car, and it's simulated like you're racing at Boyd Speedway. So it's really cool. So we're going to do a little bit more stuff like that.
All right. So let's go over ticket prices. Have you made that determination yet?
A normal event ticket price is going to be $10 in the grandstand, kids 12 and under free. In the pit area, it's going to be $25 for adults, kids 3 to 12 are $10, and 2 and under are free.
Okay. So you do allow kids in the pits?
We do allow kids in the pits.
Okay.
We do.
All right. What about season tickets? Can they get season tickets?
I don't have a season ticket option just yet. Sometimes with us just being bi-monthly, probably, it's kind of tricky in case there's a rain out. It's just a little bit harder to do season tickets for a racetrack. So we won't be having that just yet. But we also have a VIP section, which is actually enclosed, your own restroom, kitchenette, all that stuff over there in turn 1 over our simulator. So that is an option as well. And it's $50 to sit up there per person, but you also get access to our pit area.
Okay.
So you're in the air conditioner, you're out of the dirt, you get to go hang out in the pits and say, hey to everybody, and then go back upstairs.
Okay. All right. You still have an opportunity here. Well, time's quickly winding by. I didn't realize it was that far along. But any last comments that you want to make, encouraging people, whether it's drivers, fans, whatever, to come check out the new Boyd Speedway?
Well, it's the new old Boyd Speedway.
Okay. The new old.
Yeah. Just that we appreciate everybody that comes out and supports us. And because we have been around for so long and we are an area attraction. And our guys that get out there, in those race cars that bolt in, they're our local guys. They may be the ones that are turning wrenches at your local auto mechanic place, or it even might be your, lawyer, because I even have a lawyer down there. So, it's something for everybody down there at Boyd Speedway.
And a quick phone number if they'd like to get more information.
I don't know the phone number offhand. You can check us out at boydspeedway.net.
All right, you can do that. We will be back with more here after the break, here on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM, 95.3 FM HD4 in just a moment.
The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
Total Carmageddon in Catoosa County as both sides of I-75 were shut down in a 35-car pileup. GDOT and the Georgia Highway Patrol working the case. Be cautious while driving on the roadways today as black ice has caused multiple car wrecks all across the area. A minor earthquake was felt all the way from Indian Springs to North Hamilton County, 2.7 on the Richter scale, originating out of Indian Springs, waking people up at near 5 in the morning. Because of the icy conditions in Chattanooga, School Superintendent Dr. Brian Johnson made the decision to close down Hamilton County schools, and surrounding counties followed suit. He said the biggest issue was the timing of the forecast, with freezing rain coming in right when school buses will be at the apex of their routes. On Mark Twain Circle, a junction box caught on fire, leaving one family homeless when their house was engulfed in flames. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7. Now.
The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Oh man, rush. I've got to get stuff for the party. Where can I go that's going to give me a wide selection of beer, wines, and spirits? Oh, I got it. I'll go to Harry's Wine and Spirits, Signal Mountain. Maybe East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd. I could go to Riley's Wines and Spirits in Hickson. Wow, look at the huge selection in here. Look at these great prices. Amazing. Oh yeah, I'm going to find something for my lady too. I'm going to make this party a success.
Make your party a success when you stop in at Harry's Wine and Spirits in Signal Mountain, East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd, and Riley's Wine and Spirits in Hickson.
$25 goes by quickly these days, and 25 cents still just a quarter. 25 is the years of experience Schultz & Associates puts behind filing your tax return quickly, correctly, and electronically. Schultz & Associates.
Hi, I'm Chip Chapman. The IRS set some special dates this year regarding filing your taxes. It all may make filing a little more confusing this year. The professionals at Schultz & Associates can answer your questions about multiple incomes, income for rental property, special circumstances involving your children or family. Call Schultz & Associates 899-1130 and arrange an appointment to work out the details of your tax return. Schultz & Associates, 6310 Bonnie Oaks Drive.
Baseball sluggers often wear the number 25, or 25 is a full MLB roster. Just happens 25 is also the years of experience Schultz & Associates puts behind filing your tax return quickly, correctly, and electronically. Schultz & Associates, 899-1130.
The
automated nuclear missile defense system has suddenly entered into launch mode, and you are the only one who can stop it. Escape Experience Chattanooga. Your team has just been infected with a deadly virus. Your only hope? There, in an abandoned farmhouse. Escape Experience Chattanooga. Handcuffed in a maximum security prison, you have an hour to flee. Escape Experience Chattanooga. These escape scenarios and more at Chattanooga's best escape room, game, and team building platform. Call now. Slots are limited. Register online at escapeexperience.com/Chattanooga. Escape Experience Chattanooga.
Traffic, news, and information. Nooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Expect fair to partly cloudy skies to continue through your nighttime. Cold overnight, lows mid and upper 20s. Now for your Wednesday, look for some sunshine with a breeze out of the north, though. Quite cold, highs up around 40 with more mainly dry and cold weather expected through Friday. Celebrate the new year with Dixieland Fireworks, locally owned with the largest selection around. A Black Hat dealer with the lowest prices in Dixie. Dixieland Fireworks, just off I-75 on Ringgold Road, East Ridge. And I'm Swarteen 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare.
Martin Truex Jr. is off the pace and he is headed to the pit lane. Elliott Powers around the outside. Michael McDowell pops the right front tire. Here's Martin Truex to the bottom. Blaney blocks him off too. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott went 4 wide on the back straightaway. They're side by side for the lead.
Hear it live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM, 95.3 HD4.
The voice of NASCAR.
Broadcasting live to over 1 million souls in Chattanooga, the Tennessee Valley, and beyond on frequency modulation 92.7. Sean Hannity. 25,000 watts on digital FM 95.3 HD4. CBS Radio News. NASCAR, Bloomberg Markets, David Tulis, streaming strong at NoogaRadio.com. Live on YouTube and Facebook. Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7. Chattanooga Radio.
Sports Talk with Sam Jordan back with you here for the second half hour. And we've had Kathy Coulter from Boyd Speedway that was on with us. And she is going to be taking over the promoter duties there. And it will be a great thing if you love racing. And like I've said, you know, with us being the NASCAR racing station, go on Saturday nights, check out Boyd Speedway. You'll enjoy it. It is good family fun entertainment, dirt track racing. And you can find it there with her in her fine facility just off of Exit 1 in Ringgold. And so, you know, NASCAR, you know, we've got a lot of different promotions that we're going to be doing here on the station. Since we're that NASCAR racing station, we got an opportunity for you to participate and have fun, you know, by going to the different businesses as well with some contests we've got going on. So, you know, you can bring kids to Boyd Speedway. If they're 12 and under, you can get them in for free. You know what? Going to a racetrack, and this is from personal experience. I've got 6 boys, and I put 2 of them in cars where they have raced over the years. And I tell you what, you know, it really gives a lot of sense of responsibility to that, you know, young kid to really respect in how they're driving on a track. Because it helps them as they are getting older when they're out on the streets. Because there is 2 kinds of driving, racing and regular driving. But I tell you what, in all the years that I've been around tracks, working at tracks, that is, up in Pennsylvania, New York, and Ohio, kids really find good role models with racing. I have seen that. In fact, my youngest, who's 14 now, he had some teenagers that would also race. Mason Dillon was one that he was only 16. I was the youngest that he could get in behind a wheel and race on the track on Friday nights at Clinton County Raceway. And I tell you what, those teenagers that are probably about 7 to about 14 or so, they look up to when they see a kid out there that's also wanting to participate and drive a race car. Or they find someone out there that, like with me, I'm from Arkansas. Mark Martin grew up in Batesville, Arkansas, about 30 minutes east of where I'm from, in Conway, Arkansas. And I watched Mark race at Benton and over at BB Speedways back when I was a kid. And when I saw Mark Martin rise up through the ranks, it's like I always followed Mark, whether he was racing in the number 6 car for Jack Roush or, whomever. He raced with Earnhardt racing there for a while. It's like you find that particular driver, you gravitate toward them, and that's generally what you get with a lot of these young kids, that you want to have a good experience for them, where they will do things with the family, because usually when you go to a racetrack, the whole family goes, and usually you end up bringing some friends with, because like with my son, Timmy, he always would bring the neighbor kid with. And it's like, all right, I'll get a pass, that way they can enjoy the experience. And maybe that would get them interested in racing as well. But I'm telling you what, racing is probably one of the cleanest, believe it or not, even with a dirt track, one of the cleanest sports that you could ever want to get a kid to be involved with, whether as a fan or potentially as a driver, someday, or maybe working on a pit crew. That's how my oldest twin son, James, worked on one of the pit crews with one of the drivers there at Clinton County Raceway up in Central PA. And then eventually James got the bug, and it's like, Dad, can you help me out? I'd like to get in the 4-cylinder class and start learning how to race and move up. And he did. And it's like, all right. Dad, was with it. We went out, we bought a 4-cylinder. We got it painted, went out and got sponsorships. I taught him how to go and approach different businesses. Hey, would you like to advertise your business on my race car? And, basically we paid for the car in about a month or so after getting these sponsorships and stuff. And that was even above and beyond when I worked as the director of marketing for a couple of racetracks. After I got all my major sponsors, filled in, whether they were a heat sponsor, a feature sponsor, or just a billboard sponsor at the track, we got sponsors for the car. It's not an easy task either, because, there's always something that's going to break down. You've got, brakes that go, spark plug you need to replace. I mean, I'm being symptomatic in that regard. But I tell you what, if you can get kids involved to really like and appreciate a good sport such as auto racing, they will be better characters, and they're not out there, in the drug scene or, just boozing it up and just being a wild teenager. So, it's always good if you can bring a kid to the track. And, one of the things that we did at Clinton County when I was there as the track announcer and also the marketing person, we had the bicycle race. We got the kids at the track where they would race their bicycle, and we gave away brand new bicycles, to the, top 10 or 15 kids where we made it their race. We did it during Fair Week. And so, a lot of the kids that, didn't know about it, and they were there for the fair, and they saw, what was going on. It's like, hey, I want to do that next year when they do it again. So, you always try to make it fun for the entire family. So I think Kathy's really got some great plans in store for the fans as well as the drivers themselves there at Boyd Speedway, just off exit 1 over in Ringo, Georgia. So I really do wish her the best on that. All right, don't forget, while we're talking racing, get my trusty clipboard here. NASCAR racing action gets underway here on Nooga Radio beginning February 11th with the Advanced Auto Parts Clash. That'll be going on at Daytona. That'll start at 2 o'clock. Then February 15th, the Can-Am Duels will be on. 2 races. That'll get underway at 6 o'clock. Then the 18th of February, the Great American Race with the Daytona 500. That'll get underway at 1:30. on February the 18th. And Daytona 500 is such an awesome race. I'm hoping to be able to go down there for that race. It's one racetrack that I have not been to. I've had the pleasure of going to a lot of NASCAR tracks and covering NASCAR racing action for radio and TV through the years. And the season can't get here soon enough. And it will be interesting to see how some of the new driver alignments are coming in for this 2018 season. And we will have all the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series racing beginning February 11th, and it will go to November the 18th with the Ford EcoBoost 400 from Homestead Miami Speedway. And I'm telling you what, it will be an exciting season for NASCAR racing action. Seeing Dale Jr. in the broadcast booth instead of behind the wheel, Jeff Gordon, I think he's done a good job in his first season, since being retired and everything. But I think Dale Jr. being in the booth, that's going to be hard for him. I thought it might be a little bit hard for Jeff Gordon, but he's done very well for himself. So we appreciate everybody that has chimed in with comments and stuff on Facebook Live here. And of course, with our one caller we had earlier, but a lot of great racing action you're going to find here in our area. North Georgia Speedway being right nearby. And of course, with Boyd Speedway, and there's many other great tracks. I think there's like 8 or 9 within about 100-mile radius of the Chattanooga area. So there's a lot of good racetracks for you to check out. And if you can't, you can always listen to it here on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM, 95.3 FM HD4. All right, we're going to switch gears here for a little bit. I'm looking for my youngest twin son, Sam, to chime in with Preds Pulse Report. The Preds are going to be in action tomorrow. But I know tonight a lot of people are thinking about the national championship game between Alabama and Georgia. Both states very close. Not as close as Georgia. But I tell you what, there's a lot of fans I've been seeing throughout the day that has been wearing the Alabama garb and a lot more people wearing the Georgia garb. I've said this last week, with Alabama, I consider them like the New England Patriots in college football, where they're always winning. And, it's always great that, you strive to do your best, but sometimes you got to spread the wealth a little bit. Don't you think? And, Georgia, yeah, they won a national championship here a while back. But if I had to pick between the two teams, and I've already made my pick and I'm not going back on it, I'm hoping that Georgia defeats Alabama for the national championship until my Arkansas Razorbacks or the Penn State Nittany Lions get back in there someday, or Tennessee. Since I'm living in Tennessee, yeah, I'll root for the Vols, and I think Coach Pruitt's going to get things turned around, and I don't think he's going to be wasting any time either. And I think the nonsense that happened last season, as well as the last half of the previous season, ain't going to be happening too long if they want to play Tennessee Vols football. So I'm sure Keon gets in here. He'll be talking about it as well coming up after CBS World and National News after the 7 o'clock hour. Let's talk a little bit of local stuff here. The visiting Seahawks claim a 57-33 win in front of a packed house on the road, with Silverdale getting past Boyd Buchanan. So that was a game that took place over the weekend on Friday. Silverdale winning by 2 points over Boyd Buchanan, 39-37. That's the girls' score. And it was Silverdale over Boyd Buchanan, 57-33 in the boys' game. So that was awesome to hear about as well. The Bradley Central Bearettes took care of business with Cleveland to get their 17th straight win, winning 83-34 over their opponent in District 5 AAA action. at Jim Smitty Arena there in Cleveland. Anna Walker getting a team high 14 points on 5 of 9 shooting. Yeah, in that victory that took place here over the weekend, or actually on Friday. Ware and Davis combined for 45 points as the Blue Raiders blasted the Bears in boys action 86-63. So that one was a little bit closer in that contest there on Friday. Let's see. We've got basketball action coming up here very soon. We'll be talking about that coming up here on Nooga Radio. And we think that you will enjoy having a high school basketball action here on the radio, on Nooga Radio. And I'll be bringing you the play-by-play for those events. And we'll be talking about that as we get a little bit closer. University of Tennessee Chattanooga splitting with Western Carolina and East Tennessee State University on Saturday. The Lady Mocs, well, they don't like to be called Lady Mocs. They like to be called the Mocs. But the women's Mocs team rallied for a 47-32 win, while the UTC men fell 85-66 to the Buccaneers. And one of the things when I was not here on Thursday was the fact I had the opportunity of doing the PA announcing for the women's Mocs game here the other night as they took on their opponent. And it was a great time, great atmosphere. The women won, but the men lost. And, so it was good that it was the game that I was participating in being the PA announcer. And hopefully I'll be able to do that again. Quake, who works at one of the other area radio stations, normally does, but because of his show and everything, he wasn't able to get there for the early game. And so we were able to step in and help out in that cause there. And but the men's team, the one thing that I noticed with both the men's and the women's, because I did stay for both games, was the one thing that they were having more issues with was the rebounding. And, with that is critical and key with any basketball team. And I've been a basketball coach before, and it's like, you always implore to your players, rebound, rebound, rebound. No matter if it's offensive rebound or a defensive rebound, it was one thing that, they were lacking in was getting those rebounds. And, their opponents that they had, their business. They were going on the boards, pulling down the rebounds and heading down the other way. But fortunately, with the play of Ariana Gilbert and Kiana Gilbert for the Mocs women's team, they were able to offset the lack of rebounding with some good field goal shooting, whether it was from within the arc or outside the arc. And, Mackenzie London for the men's team, was trying to get the men's team back into contention and just really couldn't overcome that obstacle that they were facing in that contest there over the last several days. And, the men's team struggling here quite a bit in their season so far. And we've said this, and we're not trying to keep dwelling on it, but they are the youngest team in NCAA Division I play. So with the height and the athleticism that the men's team has, they will be a better team. They have got a lot of potential and could be in a very explosive team. And especially if they can get some good junior college transfers, maybe prior to next season. Where they will be an outstanding team to be reckoned with. The Lady Mocs doing an awesome job. Then you go up the road up to Knoxville with the UT Lady Vols. They are doing an outstanding job. They're one of the top, I think it's 7th ranked in the country going into this weekend, this past weekend, that is, and the Lady Mocs was able to pull away with a victory over their opponent yesterday up in Knoxville. Appreciate you checking in with us. You still got an opportunity to call in at 423-800-8949 here with Sports Talk with Sam Jordan here on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM, 95.3 FM HD4. Of course, we're on NoogaRadio.com. We're on Facebook Live, YouTube, you name it. So call in and give us your comments or your questions. 423-800-8949. Hope you had a great weekend. It just was an awesome weekend. And today, you know, with the little bit of freezing rain that we had in the area, you know, schools were closed today for the most part. There were some 2-hour delays. I think UTC didn't get underway and some of the other colleges until around noontime. But, you know, the kids were probably trying to find something to do around the house. The ones here in Hamilton County, actually a little extended break from the holidays and stuff, one more day. But really a lot of great basketball and wrestling that's been going on in the high school ranks here. Days from the Christmas break will only get better as we get into the season. So hopefully some of that great action there. One of the events that went on was the Central Invitational Wrestling Tournament that took place on Saturday. Greenbrier won the Invitational after claiming 4 individual titles and scoring 166 points. And championships with the schools that were involved. 106, Cole McCartney out of Greenbrier defeating Ethan Medeiros out of Chattanooga Christian 4-0. And the 113 class, Chandler Davis out of Walker Valley defeated Tenario Thomas out of East Hamilton 5-3. At the 120 weight class, James Jor out of Walker Valley got a decision over Connor Thornburg of East Hamilton 4-3. At 126, it was Nathan Ford out of Greenbrier getting a decision over Xavier Finley out of Stone Memorial 14-8. At 132, Landon Adzima from Gibbs pinning Zachary Gee out of Red Bank in 4:49. At 138, Kashawn Cozy out of East Ridge pinned Caden Klein out of Red Bank in 4:59. And a lot of other great wrestling action, a lot of pins going on for Greenbrier and also with East Hamilton and Gibbs and Ray County getting some pins as well. Until tomorrow, I hope you have a great night. And we'll be back with you once again. Thanks for listening to Sports Talk with Sam Jordan. We want to thank Kathy Coulter from Boyd Speedway for being our
95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM.
Truex Jr. is off the pace and he is headed to the pit lane. Elliott Cowherd around the outside. Michael McDowell pops the right front tire. Here's Martin Truex to the bottom. Blaney's blocked.